Where's your clapboard? You don't say action like that. You need a clapboard.
That way, he will get his custom. But just visit our social media platforms.
Recorded on video.
Just get our social media platforms. You used to say anybody out there who does not love music here that person. In different locations,
You know you owe me Kosam, right?
Out there.
This is proof that he's owing me Kosam.
Bye-bye. You're a globetrotter guy. You're always in planes going to places.
Globetrotter, how no? I'm in Douala, no ground.
The last time you were in France, that you were in Congo.
Are you sure? Can you prove it?
I can prove it. You want me, guys? You guys want me to prove it?
Don't go and look at some Photoshop picture of me somewhere. You think it's France? No.
Anyway,
we are Photoshop experts.
I'm promising you guys that at the end of the show we are going to bring some evidence that this guy is a globetrotter. Anyway,
Photoshop exists. Where?
So hello guys, and welcome to the Zebra Comics podcast. A new edition, a new episode today. We're going to be discussing on something really, really interesting, which has to do with the cultural and the creative industries in Africa. Talk about creative industries, Marv. You're one of the superstars in this industry. You know that? Of course, you're a superstar because you are always hopping on planes, flying to different places across
that movie about?
Across the world.
Please.
The guy
What's
is
the
either
synopsis of this movie?
he's either on Kenya Airways or Ethiopia Airways or Cameco.
This guy has seen some Photoshop image and
going to France.
there are
and different
experts
places.
at Photoshop out there.
Anyway, don't mind what he's saying because he still has the info
proof.
that he's going to share with you guys today. All the juicy information, all the in-house information, the backdoor information that we have about our creative industries. So today's discussion basically is going to be about why Africans' creative industries do not end up succeeding. In the vast majority of them, from cinema to music to book publishing to comics and animation, especially those two domains which we are directly involved in, they don't usually grow very, very fast. But it's interesting to note that the cultural industries, as far as the World Bank has stipulated, is worth billions and billions of dollars, and there's a huge opportunity there for African actors in the sector because, of course, we have our traditions, we have our storytelling, we have all of that, which is really, really new and fresh, not yet brought into the mainstream, and so we can use all of that, to push, our stuff out there. But I'd like to know from you, Mark, what are some of the creative industries or creative businesses, or what will I say, endeavors from Africans that you think you admire the most, be it in music, in cinema, in publishing? What are some of those ones that you think have stood out despite all of the difficulties out there?
Okay, let's go sector by sector.
Mm-hmm.
Comics, of course, we have Zebra Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Charity begins at home.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. In comics, still we have this event, Bilili Bede Festival, which it's like I always say. I know Elionsun wants me to say this, but it's the biggest in Central Africa right now. Biggest comic book event.
It is.
You know, from the quality of guests, not only the quantity of guests, people who come, but the quality. Mm-hmm. You have the Lagos Comic Con.
Okay.
Yes, which every year you have Mr. Ayodele who does his best to bring in people.
It's really a geek fest by excellence. It's really something which for a one-day event, the crowd that it pulls, the amount of content that it exposes, it's really something to write home about.
Then you have Comic Con Africa.
Okay.
I'd like to attend that event.
Okay.
Then now let's go to animation. Mm-hmm. You have Clay Edu's Cledley Productions. Yes, Mingan the Broken Spoon, the Mr. Owaza. When you go to gaming, you have
I was hoping you would have mentioned people like Spoof Animation. Spoof Animation did something very interesting recently with Ajaka, Lost in Rome.
No, I was still naming now.
Yeah, well,
but anyway,
you already moved from film to animation to film. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, there are really many endeavors. Like I was in gaming, you have Kiro Games, you have joint play games of Michel Quinja, and also Nukema.
Yeah.
When you go to music, man, it's really vast.
Yeah.
It's vast.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
many endeavors.
I think music is one of those things which has really been very, very, it's been part and parcel of human history for a very, very long
Vibrant,
time.
yes.
Always vibrant. As my mom used to say, anybody out here who does not love music, fear that person.
Yeah, there's somebody at Zebra Comics who doesn't love music.
What?
We're not calling names.
Anyway,
One
let's not get into those very scary details. let's focus on things which are really, really interesting. So apart from that, what do you say? I mean, cinema.
Yes.
You say something about that? Any cinematography apart from Nollywood, of course, which is
No, I was going to quote Nollywood.
which is a reference anyway.
No, I was going to quote Nollywood by excellence, like they're the best.
Okay.
Then you have South Africa too, which is doing a lot. Now, when you come to Cameroon, we have the Cindy Emades, there's Stephanie Toom. Yeah, those are people who are really doing a lot as far as movies are concerned. Yes.
I mean, it's interesting to note that there are people who have invested in these creative industries and they have really grown the sector to a certain level where, I mean, it's actually selling the continent out there. Especially, we've spoken of Nollywood, the cinematography sector, by the way, music, but generally, I'm bringing us back to the topic. Generally, there's been this difficulty in other actors in other sectors or subsectors within the creative industries who have tried to push endeavors which have not really met with great success. I'm talking about things like the comics, I'm talking about things like the animation, the video games, and all of those sectors. It's really interesting to note because it's good that we go back to the basics and look at the background. The fact that today with the emergence of the penetration of the internet, the smartphones, computers, and all of the digital ecosystem that we have around us, that made it easier for creators, for the actors in the creative industry to be able to, vulgarize their works and distribute what they have. We still find that many people still don't, make it. I mean, we've seen so many endeavors that have started, have tried to go through the journey, but have lost on the way. And of course, we still see many more that are rising up nowadays. Yes. We're seeing many new houses that are popping up here and there. We see comics production houses, we see animation studios, we see video game producers and all of that who are coming up. And, this question of failure in the creative industries, because when I talk of when I reminisce or I reflect on the topic we are discussing today, it makes me to do a kind of comparison between what is happening in Africa and what's happening in more developed markets. The fact that you when a video game releases, for example, on a major platform. By the way, like yesterday, there was I think there was a developer direct for Xbox, Microsoft Xbox, where they were talking about new games that were coming out on the Xbox platform. Classics like Ninja Gaiden and recent stuff like Doom, the first-person shooter game. Those stuff that which by the time they start marketing them, they've already sold out millions and millions of copies. But I mean, the same is not witnessed here on the continent. We still have a lot of struggles, a lot of problems, a lot of things that don't go really right. What are some of these issues that are really plaguing the sector, basically?
Okay, disclaimer to all the viewers. This question is a trap.
Yeah.
Because when I answer, for you use it, you think you use it as proof to tell people that I've traveled, I've not traveled. so disclaimer.
Well, that's not for him to decide because at the end of the show we're going to put the facts on the table. Anyway, go ahead.
Except Photoshop exists.
Okay.
Anyway, creators on the continent, they have lots of challenges.
Yeah.
Starting with training, professional training. Then you'll go to financial shortcomings, and from there, you have the nature of the country itself.
Okay.
Yes, and when I say nature of the country, I mean distribution
Yeah.
networks, yes. And each of these points, where you take each point, you dive in there. Each point is kind of multifaceted.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, when you take distribution,
Yeah.
which is a problem, it doesn't mean we don't have distribution spots in the country.
Yeah.
We do have distribution spots. I'll quote Carrefour, I'll quote FNAC, but now to distribute at those places, there are certain conditions that need to be met.
Yeah.
You know, like with some, you must have worked. Your work must be published by a recognized publisher,
Publishers, yeah.
brick and mortar publisher, I'll call it that.
Yeah.
And now, even when you have these printed copies, you have bookstores around that prefer selling academic manuals because the assumption is that people don't read.
Yeah.
Yes, because they don't make a lot of money from the academic manuals, they assume that people don't read. But people read a lot more other content in general than academic manuals.
Anyway,
academic manuals are for students.
Just like as an interlude or an aside, as far as academic manuals are concerned in our ecosystem, I think that's a different ball game, because they are included in the book list.
Exactly.
The official book list that are released by the government, which
so
of course
parents must buy.
Parents must buy.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's a different model, which has which we cannot directly compare with what we have with the creative industries, which is mostly entertainment and education in a different way.
Exactly.
Learn about our cultures and traditions and stuff like that.
Then when you leave distribution, let's go to the financial part.
Okay.
The sector as it is today is still growing. You don't have a lot of people who are able to earn a living. Well, luckily enough, we have Zebra Comics that is able to hire some artists. We can't hire all artists, though.
Yeah.
Yes, but an artist, or let's say a creator, not only a comic book artist, even a writer, you create this piece of content.
Yeah.
Given that you may not be earning a lot of money from that yet, you need to get a day job.
Yeah.
I always tell people, your passion can't feed you for a start. You feed your passion. So you need a day job from where you get funds to invest in your passion. Meaning the time you have allocated for creation, for working on this craft of yours, this passion, is very limited. So because of that, you can't really be consistent in producing that creation, or that work, that work of art. When you finally, when you succeed to have the work, putting it out there, publishing. Okay, is it a hard copy book? Printing. If you don't have a publisher who is willing to invest in your book, okay, so you can do self-publishing. But now, does that creator have enough money for that? When the book has been published, they have to market it. They have to distribute. They have a lot of logistics to handle.
Exactly.
Yes. And imagine you're able to take care of all of that. And then the book doesn't do good.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, and basically the idea that the creative industries are not yet well developed
and
structured in such a way that it's already generating what the majority of people or actors in it can live just off it.
Exactly.
Basically. So, but the follow-up question I have, which just pops up in my mind while you're presenting this, is if we compare this to other developed markets, in quotes. People do live off these sectors. People do have this as their day job, right?
Yes.
You go to the Hollywood, for example, you have screenwriters who are screenwriters and nothing else.
Yes.
They get up in the morning, they're working on a script, and they know, okay, there's a production coming on forward, and that's their job. You go maybe to the comics industry, they are illustrators, they are colorists, they are writers, who is their day job. They take that and they do it as their day job. And so the question basically is, why not the case in Africa? Maybe because you highlighted something about the country's situation and distribution and stuff like that. Maybe you say something about that.
Okay. Let's not forget the fact that the United States, France, Japan, these are countries that have been in this for over 100 years.
Okay.
They did not start. Yes, they did not start just yesterday. The Disneys, the Stanleys, the Shueisha in Japan, Edition Glénat, which has, it's one of the great in Europe. We even have Media Participation that has Edition Dupuis. These are multinationals actually. These are companies that have been working for over 100 years.
Yeah.
So they were able to build their distribution networks. They were able to grow their catalog. There are many things they were able to do with time.
With time.
And I believe if you go to the people who started this, if you can still find some, they tell that the beginnings were very hard.
Yeah.
So they were able to grow over time and set their foundations in their respective countries.
Yeah.
You know, have some base, have some that's in like is it in, rooting themselves.
Rooting themselves.
Yes, they're able to root themselves, and then they had policies like from their governments, and they had grants and they had a lot of aid. You know, they had many things that facilitated, you know, work for them. Yes, it doesn't mean that they didn't have their challenges. They had lots of challenges, but it's I think the fact that they have this longevity in the industry, it plays to the advantage. Here on the continent, we are catching up. You know, we've had people who've done comics for years, and you know they've gotten published by the big publishers, but that's not enough. You know, I'm very happy we have a wave of creators right now, of creators coming up with original stories. Yes. One challenge that they're always going to face, and it's one of the challenges we have at Zebra Comics, is the fact that just existing, you alone existing as a creator, pits you against the greats. Just the existence of Zebra Comics alone pits us against all the other publishing companies. And we are fighting for a share of the market. You see, yes. And these people, they have already like they have titles that are very, very popular. They are worldwide phenomenons. So, okay, we have titles on the Zebra Comics app, right? We have the Zebra Comics platform. Let me use the platform. We have Webtoon. That is more popular.
Of course.
You have Shueisha's, is it Manga Plus? Yes, which
Manga
is very
Plus.
recent. I think Manga Plus. It's very recent.
It's
right?
very recent, very recent. Compared to Webtoon, actually, it's a very recent platform.
You see, and these are platforms that have these very popular IPs that are known worldwide. So when you're a new creator, you have to fight to create yourself, or, you know, to carve out a little niche of the market for a beginning. So you know, it's if you want to have a greater market share, you just have to work hard, grow your audience.
Okay, that's really, really interesting. I mean, for any business endeavor, I would say that it's difficult, or every business endeavor comes with challenges. The beginnings are always difficult, you know, and you know it takes a lot of work, a lot of engagement, a lot of perseverance for you to actually stand out and thrive. You know. So I think it's the point that, you know, these cultural industries or creative industries in the West have been existing for centuries, for over a century. You know, it's a valid point, because even when we take the example of Nollywood in neighboring Nigeria, you get to understand that these are guys who have been on the scene, you know, for quite some time. They have been there. They have gone through all the phases that you can think of. Remember back in the day, the whole Nigerian home video and stuff.
Oh, yes, and piracy.
And piracy and all of that, and which, you know, really entertained our populations. And at some point, they faced a lot of criticism that there wasn't quality, maybe in the images, in the cinematography, in the. But I mean, you can't say anything about Nigeria today, because I mean, Nollywood has. The growth has been tremendous.
We say German clean.
Exactly. Yeah. We actually bow before them and, you know, give them the respect. And it comes from what you're saying. That time that they put in to be able to grow the business, you know, develop the market, get people more engaged, and all of that. I think we're going to move into continuation of the discussion. Basically, we're talking about the different aspects of the creative industries, basically, that, you know, the different things that are limiting the creative industries, and the fact that Nollywood basically has been one of those very, very prominent, you know, creative setups that has really thrived on the continent. And given the time that they've spent to really develop, you know, their craft, they have really grown tremendously, and it's an example to follow. But again, I think, you know, we have spoken a lot about, you know, the internal factors that, you know, plague our creative industries in Africa and why they don't grow. But before I move into maybe some of the external factors that are, independent of those, the actors who are in the industry right here, I think it's also important to mention the fact that, many people get into these industries without really having a clear-cut plan. Like, you need to treat it like a business, whether you like it or not. I see a lot of as a writer myself, I've seen a lot of creative people who have been into this industry, and they feel that maybe as creative people, they don't have to put themselves out there. They don't have to be involved in marketing. They don't have to push their business. I mean, it's a business. Publishers out there, Harry Potter, which we spoke about last time, became a world phenomenon because of the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
The author wrote what she wrote, but the book was everywhere,
Yeah.
all at the same time,
Yes.
because the publishers engaged to make them available on shelves in different places. Invested in events and all of that. So I mean, that is one thing which I think people don't creatives in the industry don't have the right approach to the way they can create these things. They don't have the right approach, the way the business approach basically to creative industries. And it is a business. It needs to be treated as
Exactly.
such.
Like when I leave the house and I'm going to work, I have this thought that comes to mind. Like when we started Zebra Comics, we just wanted to tell stories. We're writers, we're creatives. We create walls, characters, universes. But now, I don't know if you've realized this, but for close to a year now, we've done less of creation, but more of looking at statistics, business, and strategies.
Yeah, of course.
So,
of course,
it's something that's very important. And creatives too, I think many have to get out of this bubble of this superstar bubble.
Yeah.
Yes, because you seek to create value first. But you have creators who just want to be popular immediately. They want to be the next Ichiro Odas, the next Stan Lees. But I always ask one question: are you willing, or are you ready to put in the work?
Exactly.
Because these guys work matin, midi, soir, morning, afternoon, evening. You know, yes, a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
If I start telling people just the story of Zebra Comics alone.
Yeah.
The battles that we had to fight and the battles we lost.
Yeah.
Because it's not only about success, it's failures, but we were consistent and we were not looking to be the next. I mean, I've always wanted to be like J.K. Rowling, but with this, I was not looking to be the next J.K. Rowling. I was looking at the business part. How do I make money from this thing? Exactly. What strategies do I put in place? And it's one thing I used to tell artists too. When you're looking to grow and you're depending on a particular person, right? Okay, let me say it this way. You're looking to grow, you need investment.
Okay.
Tailor your product in such a way that it's going to attract an investor.
Yeah.
See, yes. The example of Zebra Comics. When we started, we wanted to tell stories of African superheroes, to wow people. But that's going to target a particular demography.
Exactly.
Young people. Now you're looking for funding. You think you go meet the director of Eco Bank and you say you have a story about an African superhero, you think he's going to listen to you? No. His level of reasoning, it's not a superhero, is low level reasoning, but the things he has in mind, he wouldn't really want to associate his image with that immediately. Yes, except it's something that has succeeded and has become a worldwide phenomenon. No, of course. Yes, so I used to tell people, tailor your projects or build projects that will appeal to a certain demography. That demography that has money. Don't go into creating superhero stories first. This thing used to vex me, and I understand. It used to get me on my nerves. This issue of when you talk about comics, people think sensitization. But I understand. The people who did those comics, they were looking for the money. They needed the money. When you're going to the United Nations, for example, tailor your project. It should be something that has to do with the Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations will listen to you. And if you're going to MTN, Orange, Eco Bank, tailor your project in such a way that somebody at MTN will be interested. Exactly. You want to associate his image to that. If you're looking for funding, artists, it's not an accusation, but it's just a fact. we creatives, we like hanging out with other creatives.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to grow, don't hang only around creatives.
Yeah, you need to get out of that box.
Yes. If you hear there's an event that has to do with the economy, go attend. Because that's where you find people who speak money.
Exactly.
You may meet the director of a bank.
I mean, like the events that you've traveled the world attending.
You again.
Anyway, not to cut you short, basically, I think what you're driving towards is the aspect of training, which we're talking about.
There's training and networking.
Exactly, training, networking, the aspect of getting, the skills, the capability of the business acumen that you need to be able to, thrive in this domain. And I think it's really, really important for you guys to understand that creative industrial businesses too. Whether you're into comics, you're into animation, you're into video games, it's still a business. One other thing I'll add basically is that, usually these teams that really start, I mean, I've seen so many brilliant ideas, brilliant initiatives, brilliant projects around comics, animation, video games, and all of that. We start off very well and then end off in such a way. Why? Because the way the people who were the initial founders of the business, how they were selected was not well done. Who you associate yourself with, will determine how far you will go. I mean, Zebra Comics is a very, very good example of that.
The best team.
We've been together for, I think,
8 years.
For 8 years.
What's remarkable is that many of us didn't know each other from childhood. We met only at Zebra Comics.
Exactly.
And yes. Who's that making a Gen Z soundtrack?
So anyway, so basically that is one of the things which creative industries usually suffer from. It is a human resource issue. It is working with people who are really, really passionate about this, because as we said before, many of these people, many of these industries that have thrived, many of these creative industries that have thrived in the West have put in a lot of time and a lot of work to get there. And so if you are getting into it, one thing we can tell you out of the box is that you need to put in time, you need to put in the work, you need
tie your belt.
You need to tie your belt basically, and because there's a long road ahead of you, especially if you're in Africa, if you want to build it, because the industry, as I said, is still growing. And again, just to close this point, basically it's also a matter of starting off well with people who are, really, really passionate, really, really skilled, and they have the necessary, skill set to push the business ahead. But at some point, the aspect of stardom, the aspect of me, the aspect of ego comes in, and sometimes you see that, some members of the team start, showing themselves as the ones who made it happen, whereas others didn't, or they begin to have more advantages. They begin to take more advantage for themselves over the rest of the team, and those are things that would naturally kill the whole thing in the long run.
Exactly.
So these are some of the things which creative industries in Africa. It's true in business generally. When you come to meet with people and you engage with them, there's a tendency, there's a possibility that it may go sideways or it may go in a straight line.
Yes.
But generally, we find that in creative industries, it is much more prevalent, because there's this necessity or this desire for the participants or the people who are involved in the project to want to show themselves as the stars of the whole thing. And being the star, they want to do everything to reward themselves, even at the detriment of other team members.
What is important for me is money.
Yeah.
I want to buy my Batmobile.
Yes. But anyway, as we said, there are other external factors which we're going to go over now. The other external factors, for example, there's competition that comes from out there.
Yes.
The competition is huge. I was telling somebody the other day, I think there's a young man whom I'm kind of, talking with all the time, and, giving him some ideas, since he also wants to venture into this very interesting industry. And I share my experiences with him, and I told him that he shouldn't take out the fact that even though Africa, for example, is very, very new in this domain, the creative industry in Africa is still growing. It doesn't stop us from still facing the competition from those who have been there 100 years before us. Just like you said that these guys have been there before, and we still have we just the fact that we are existing puts us against these guys,
and they have
right?
the resources,
And they have the
and they
resources,
can kick you out of the market
and
if
they
they
can
want
kick
to.
you of the market. So basically, those external factors now come now to hinder the progress of some of these. Take for example that okay, you want to you're trying to run a webtoon, a webcomic company like Zebra Comics, for example, and you have webtoon that there, and you are creating maybe I don't know 20, 30 episodes a year, and webtoon is giving you
Thousands of
is
episodes.
giving you 50,000 with 50,000 episodes with half of them or three quarters of them for free, and so it becomes now it becomes now
Sagadke.
very challenging for you to step out. So basically these are some of the things which get some of the young creatives who want to venture into this business to kind of get discouraged and give up. Another thing I think
the thing that like
yeah
was like a blow to me at one point.
mm,
It's the fact when I realized that you're competing with these companies
mhm.
and then even competing with your target audience,
Yeah.
the consumers.
I mean
I presented webtoon,
exactly.
like African webtoons, and the girl boldly told me that she prefers Korean stories.
Exactly.
I'm like, come on, we have African stories too. She's like, no,
That is
she
another
wants Korean.
that's another external factor. Which when I say external to the companies themselves, to the creatives
Yes,
themselves,
exactly.
the fact that we Africans generally are much more inclined to, or more favorable to what comes out of the continent than what
Yes.
we produce ourselves. There is, I always tell somebody that the assimilation or the colonization was so deep and so bad that maybe at the time children are born, we need to first of all do some surgery on their brains, open it up, pick out some things, and because
Maybe
it's crazy, in the sense that you find young people who are on the continent who are so passionate about what comes from outside the continent that they don't even see that what they have is good. They don't
and they
even
don't care.
see that what they have here
They're
is
actually
really
aggressive towards it.
exactly. They don't care. So at some point, it becomes really frustrating when you want to
Yeah.
really push ahead the agenda. Like I saw one funny meme the other day I shared with Liz. Funny meme where funny video where
Wait, you're sharing funny videos and it's not going around. I've not
the,
received a funny video.
there's this lady on the video who is like the caption is when a Cameroonian otaku is looking for webtoons to read,
Yes.
and then they show different available platforms, and she's like, uh-uh. They show Manta, they show Webtoon, they show, and when they show the pirate sites, the song changes.
Yes.
It goes to the Lord has done it. That kind of mentality is what's killing us, basically.
Yes.
That we because it may be something which is done for fun, but it's a true reflection of what's going on. The fact that we kind of prioritize what is happening on in places which are not really directly concerned about us or don't directly relate to us, and not
Which may not
focusing
even care about us.
exactly, and not focusing on what is ours. It's almost like you are living here, but your heart and your soul is somewhere else, and so you are constantly living in a dream.
I
You are
mean,
constantly alienating yourself.
I love Japan.
Yes.
But nothing Japan will ever do will beat water from Europe.
Exactly. So I
Not even
mean,
their sushi.
it doesn't any way denigrate or reduce the quality or the pertinence of what comes out from Africa as content. We still love the Naruto, we still love the Dragon Ball, we
Yes,
still
of
love,
course.
the Dan
Oh
Dan
yeah.
Dan, we still
Speaking of
love
which,
all of that content that comes from out there. But
I
I
forgot
mean,
I forgot my Naruto rings. I always
okay.
have them.
So anyway, it's a gig, guys, a big one.
Yes.
But we shouldn't forget that the creative industries back home, whatever we invest in ourselves, helps us grow, and and I think that is something which has hindered us a lot. To crown it all, I think one of the last things that have hindered creative industries from really thriving is government policy. I think the policies around, promotion of this sector are not as encouraging as possible. In fact, they are inexistent, I would even say. That means when you go to, for example, the Ministry of Culture in Cameroon, for example, you have a lot of emphasis on particular sectors. like cinema, like music, like obvious ones, right? But sectors which have shown and continue to show a lot of potential in terms of economic, it's a lot of economic potential in terms of revenue generation and all that have kind of been ignored. So basically, like I'm talking about, like the comics, the webtoons, and all the things we're investing in, and basically there's little action that's being done to be able to push that. So
I think
there's need for that to come in place. Yeah.
I think one of the reasons for that is because the people who occupy these positions within government are quite old.
Yeah.
They are not updated. They need to update their software with world trends.
Anyway, that is true. But I still think that, as far as the government officers are concerned, those who are on the seat don't necessarily need to know everything. They just need to be able to be open enough, create the forums. So, for the last segment of our discussion today, what is the way forward? What do you think are some of the things that creative industries in Africa need to do, to be able to thrive, to be able to get to where we need them to get to? I mean, I need to remind you guys that, okay, just for the webtoon industry, for example, the webtoon industry is projected to generate around, I think, 70 to 100 billion dollars by 2035. So in 10 years' time, it's going to be a very, very huge industry, and it's something which, it's an opportunity for Africans to be in, because, I mean, we have storytelling, we have our cultures, our traditions, our folklores, and all of that we can explore. So what should creative industries in Africa do?
Creatives in general, they should get to work, because there's space for everybody under the sun.
Yeah.
There may be competition, but there's space for everybody under the sun. We have the internet today.
Okay.
People go viral in less than 24 hours. So, create your work, put it out there. Yeah. Use all the resources you have. You have the internet. Publish. There are many distribution platforms. We have Zebra Comics.
Yeah.
Distribute the Zebra Comics and other platforms, even within Cameroon.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just about getting to work, and having the right mindset, and learning from those who have experience. Let me put it that way.
Okay, I think it's also very important for those in the creative industries to actually get the right training, as you rightly said. Prepare themselves very well, get the right team members. Put in place the right documentation and the legislation, the laws, or the contract that binds your organization.
Attend the right events.
And then of course, treat it like a business. Get up every day, know that, okay, this thing like this is a business. It has to grow and has to generate revenue on a daily basis. And of course, be able to find ways to be able to raise capital, raise investment, to be able to grow your businesses so that they can go to where they have to go to.
And keep learning.
There's a lot out there on different platforms. There's a lot out on the internet for you to learn. There's a lot of resources. I think I used to say that there's been no better time in human history than now, in terms of growing business, in terms of generating wealth, because there's one tool that we all have, the internet. Yes, and the internet gives us access to everything that we need to know. Exactly. So guys, that was it for today. Like I promised you guys, we're going to unmask somebody. Just go to our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and all that. Just scroll down, go a few posts back, and you're going to see this guy over here in different locations.
You owe me Kosam, right?
He's going to tell you about his globe trotting across the world.
You owe me Kosam since 2017. No, sincerely, Liz, every time we've had some success or I've brought some good news, it's like, I owe you a container of Kosam. Let's take out the containers. Let's just stick to bottles. Yes, you owe me bottles of Kosam. See, I don't forget.
Anyway, he will get his Kosam, but just visit us.
Recorded on video.
Just get our social media platforms, and of course, you're going to enjoy a lot of our content and see, what we're doing out there.
This is proof that he's owing me Kosam.
Bye-bye.